Hey, how's it going guys? Captain Kuba here, and today is a very special day because God of War Fallen God came out yesterday. In this video, I will be going over the story and theories regarding certain characters. With that said though, I want to give you a big spoiler warning and tell you that the best way to experience this comic is by reading it yourself. When it came out, I played some God of War music in the background, used the panel by panel feature in the Dark Horse comic website, and it felt like I was watching a movie. I also think it's important to support the writers and artists of the comic by purchasing it yourself. That way we encourage them to make more of these amazing stories. So this is your last warning. You can click on the link at the top of the comment section and it will take you to the page where you can buy it. With that said, let's begin. As many of you guys know, the comic takes place right after the events of God of War 3. Now, if you were to ask me about one thing I didn't like about the comic, is the way in which it starts. The comic starts with Kratos mentioning his deathless misery, but we never see a previous panel in which he wakes up from the death he experienced at the end of God of War 3. So I asked Bruno Velasquez, the animation director at Santa Monica Studios, about it, and he replied with, "The thing about Kratos being mortal/immortal, only Corey knows. This means the topic of Kratos' immortality just got a lot more interesting. I'll be making a video about it in the coming days. For now, let's get back to the comic. After Kratos throws the Blades of Chaos into the sea, he sets sail to find peace and solitude. But he realizes that every time he wakes up from a night of sleep, the Blades of Chaos magically appear in front of him. Every time this happens, he throws the Blades of Chaos only for them to return. But more on that later. After weeks of wandering the earth, he finally comes across what seems to be civilization. So he enters a nearby town, and an old man tells Kratos that he's in the land of the pharaohs. Let's stop here for a moment. This line is important because it's giving the readers an idea on what the God of War universe looks like. As I'm sure you guys know, some fans believe each pantheon is located in its own separate realm, or galaxy if you will. Other fans believe it's just a really big planet that contains all mythologies at the same time. This comic book seems to agree with the latter, as Kratos didn't travel through a portal to arrive in the land of the pharaohs or Egyptian pantheon. He simply arrived there using a boat. There's also something interesting about this old man that might point to him being an Egyptian god as well. But more on that later. Anyway, the old man tells Kratos that this is not a coincidence that he finds himself in these lands, because Kratos arrived just in time to help them in their hour of need. We don't know what he's referring to, but I find it interesting that even though Kratos defeated the Sisters of Fate, there's still forces in the universe forcing him to follow a predetermined path. Could this be a hint that a higher deity exists that has a similar power to that of the Sisters of Fate, only greater? At this moment, we simply do not know. Anyway, after his encounter with the old man, Kratos continues to wander the land. This time, however, he tries to stay awake for as long as he can in an attempt to lose the Blades of Chaos once and for all. But while Kratos is having a drink of water, a baboon reminds him, just like the old man, that he cannot escape his destiny. More on that monkey later. After this, Kratos manages to find a cave to rest, but the comfort of the fire makes him close his eyes just for a moment, and once again, the Blades of Chaos return to his side. He even asks the Blades, "By what power do you return to my side again and again?" Now, why is this question important? It's important because the Blades of Chaos were lost many years before during the fight with Ares. But after the events of God of War 3, they seem to have become sentient as they follow him everywhere he goes. While Kratos doesn't get an answer in this comic, I'm sure he will get one in the coming issues of the series. After this, Kratos continues to walk the land, but this time an ibis repeats the same message of destiny. Kratos falls to the ground in exhaustion and the bird says, "Sleep well, Kratos. You will need all your strength to meet what lies in store for you." To be continued. Like I said before, I'm really excited for the next issue of this comic. So far we know that Kratos left Greece behind and arrived in Egypt, and the Blades of Chaos magically appear in front of him every time he wakes up. Now the question that some of you might have is, who is the old man? Ever since I saw the cover art for the first issue, I've been asking myself the same question. Some fans thought this was the Gravedigger, but this is impossible because we killed Zeus in God of War 3. After reading the first issue, I'm very sure this man is none other than the Egyptian god Thoth. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth is the god of wisdom, writing, magic, and medicine. The ancient Egyptians believe he gave them the gift of hieroglyphs, which is why he's sometimes depicted as holding a writing palette, the same object we see the old man holding in the comic. Thoth was also depicted with the head of an ibis and a baboon. Both of these animals are in the comic, and they say the same thing about destiny the old man says to Kratos before. So if you ask me, I'm 90% sure this man is an Egyptian god in disguise, much like the Gravedigger from God of War 1. But why does the God of Wisdom require Kratos' help? That I'm not sure yet. But if we look at the cover art for the third issue, we see Kratos fighting a monster that seems to be a crocodile that's terrorizing a nearby village. It's possible this is the threat the old man is referring to, but by the context of the conversation, this threat seems to be bigger. Perhaps it relates to the Egyptian pantheon itself. Overall, I really enjoyed reading this comic. It offers a new look at this character we love so much. Can't wait until April 7th until the second issue comes out. With that said, let me know what you thought about it in the comments section below. Do you agree with my theory regarding the old man? Is this an Egyptian god, or someone else? Whatever your thoughts are, make sure to leave them in the comments section below. As always, I want to give a big thanks to all of my members for their monthly support of the channel. People like Crypto, Jamie Harris, and Sammy Locks, to name a few, are the main reason I'm still able to upload these videos. So if you like my content, consider becoming a member as well. I would also like to thank all of my subscribers for liking and sharing my videos. And with that said, thanks for watching, and remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.